think it's completely ironic that Western civilization is attacked for being a civilization that hurts people and for being a civilization that puts people down. Because you know what? Western civilization has created the greatest living standards and the most peace and the most opportunity for the most people of any society in history. I mean, look, the West was the first society to end slavery. The West was the first society to create equal legal rights for all people. The West was the first society that essentially viewed individuals as individuals and not as part of some social or racial group. Something remarkable has happened in the last 300 to 400 years of human history. Since we've lived in civilization, since we've had agricultural society, for the vast majority of those 10,000 years, the lives of the vast majority of people have been short and violent and brutish. But something remarkable has happened in the last 400 years because we finally managed to build a society that views individuals as persons and not as part of a social group. I don't want the most peaceful and prosperous society in human history to fall, and I'm going to stand up for it. And if that means turning myself into a pariah, if that means being attacked by the left-wing media, I don't care, because I'm going to stand up for Western civilization, because I truly believe that it is the greatest civilization that has ever existed. And it's an amazing opportunity for everyone in the world to live in a society and in a structure that is peaceful and prosperous and values the individual and values free expression.
We built the modern world. Europeans built the modern world. We invented science and industry. We invented science and industry, and you want to tell us to stop because, oh my God, we're so bad. We invented the modern world.
I feel you. You're so dumb.
We invented the modern world. Degenerate. We saved billions of people from starvation. We built modern civilization. White people are the best thing that ever happened to the world. We are so amazing. I love myself. And I love white people.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, white people.
Say it right here.
Yeah, white men. We're white men. We did everything. I don't hate other people. I just love white men. I just love white men.
Julian Von Anele is our guest. You just saw a short clip of the viral video that's been on last week. And he is a Columbia student targeted over drunken rant saying white people invented the modern world. Now again, this is the big corporations trying to divide and conquer. The average black person, whatever, is not thinking or acting like this from my own experience. But I got news articles today where major universities are saying we're going to have zones only for minorities, whites not allowed, for inclusion. And then we're told everywhere, whites are inherently bad. They're goblins that live in holes. New York Times editorial board people. So this is how they're trying to control people. But I wanted to get him on so you could hear from him when he, wasn't late at night having a few drinks, surrounded by some young black ladies flipping him off. But he's saying all this. But I just want to say this again. Africa's great. Latin America's great. The whole world's great. You can't deny, though, Western civilization gave us navigation, gave us the printing press, gave us the clocks, gave us the systems, everything that we're based on today. So the idea that it's bad, A, is a fraud, to say any group of people are bad inherently, but to also say that, oh, it's evil, it's backwards, but then you want to get into the countries that are Western. So joining us is Julian Von Anele. And I want to talk about all this with him because he's been doxxed by SJWs and they are calling for his head for what you just saw. And people also basically grabbed his face, basically assaulted him. That's being praised as well, because to say that white people aren't inherently evil is now a thought crime. So Julian, thanks for coming on with us.
Hey Alex, thanks for inviting me on the show.
Thanks for coming on. So you tell us what happened. What was behind the scenes? What made you say this? Give us the whole story in context.
Oh, man. Well, I was having an argument with a couple kids who were saying that Trump supporters endorse sexual assault. And I told them, you know what, I'm a Trump supporter, and I don't endorse sexual assault. And Trump certainly doesn't endorse sexual assault. And they said that I was a privileged white male, and that I have white privilege. And a group of students gathered around me and basically accosted me for being a white man and expressing my opinions. And you know what? I stood up for myself, and I said I love myself, and I'm not going to hate myself for being a white man.
And so, again, because of what color you are, because of your race, you were surrounded by a mob, you stood up and said you had values. So for not saying you were a piece of crap, you are now enemy number one.
Exactly. I mean, I'm a massive public enemy. I mean, a CNN commentator literally told hundreds of thousands of people to destroy my life. Antifa activists have threatened me. They threatened to rob my dorm room. My university has disavowed me. I've been doxxed. My personal information has been leaked on the internet. All because, you know what? I stood up for myself, and I said I believe in myself, you know? And maybe I went a little bit over the top, you know? But I was frustrated by being attacked for who I am, by being attacked for my race. And it happens so often on college campuses, and it happens so often in cosmopolitan culture that I was just done apologizing for who I am.
And it's incredible how they dehumanize you, because you're being told you're bad up front, the full clip's on Infowars.com, that you're evil because you're white. And then you just simply state some facts, and then that's why you're bad. I mean, this is wild what these universities, the atmosphere that they've created. Why do you think the universities are creating this atmosphere? What's the end game?
Well, look, I'm not really a political person, believe it or not, but I'm pretty scared personally about the atmosphere that's emerging on college campuses and more broadly in urban American society. There seems to be a powerful group of people who hate the basic principles of our society. They hate free expression. They hate Western civilization. And they demonize a group of people, okay? And these students who accosted me brought up white men. I did not bring up race. They brought up race in the context of demonizing, and I brought up race in the context of defending who I am. But there's a powerful group of people who hate white men, or who want to spread hatred of white men, and demonize them, and basically blame all of the ills of our society on white men. And I'm just done with it. You know, I don't hate anybody. I said that in the video. I'm not a racist, okay?
I mean, obviously, inherently,
right.
All these folks want to get into Western civilization. It's so horrible. Why are you trying to get here?
Right, exactly. I mean, if the United States and Western civilization was so evil, so reprehensibly evil, then why are so many millions of people trying to come to the United States?
Well, the truth is they're getting here for a lot of good reasons and bad reasons, but they're being organized into a political weapon by the Democrats. I mean, that's really the end game here.
Right, right. I mean, look, just personally, I'm done with the society that I live in, with the society that was built by basically Western culture and Western values and individualism.
It opened itself up and was egalitarian, right, and is now being raped in the rear end and told, we rule you. Exactly. We've let in people, and it's not just that they're brown or black or white, it doesn't matter. We've let in people to be organized by globalists in a giant conquering operation. That's all this is.
Right, exactly. I mean, look, what I said in the video, what I really meant was essentially that Western civilization is the greatest society that has ever existed. And I'm not going to back down from saying that. We're basically the first society to understand the human individual as a person, as a human being, to allow for free expression. Okay? We're the civilization that created the most technologically advanced culture in human history. And the basic principles of our society are under attack. And I'm done putting up with our society being under attack, okay? And I think that the Western society is the greatest society in history. And if we're under attack, I'm scared about who is pushing it. And I'm scared what the consequences will be of a society that doesn't value human individuals and free expression, but demonizes particular racial groups and says that basically all the ills of the world are because of conflicts between social and racial groups. Okay?
When we come back, then, I want you to do your real rant. I want you to have the floor. I want you to really rant about Western civilization, because it's true. I mean, they're going to ban Jim Morrison. I forget which song it is, but it's maybe, come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set my night on fire. But he says the West is the best, and it's going to do the rest. The issue is the West is for everybody, no matter what color you are, where you came from. If you believe in the human spirit and liberty, it's what ended slavery all over the world. It's what empowered women. The West is the classical liberal, and the authoritarians pose as the liberal, take it over, and then attack the mothership of the West that is bringing the world the Renaissance and the future. It's a fact. We'll be right back. Infowars.com, newswars.com. Tomorrow's news today. Alex Jones here, back live. Julian Von Anele is a student studying theoretic physics, mathematics at Columbia University. He has a passion for exploring different ways of understanding the world from the perspective of mathematics, creating cosmological theories that express his experience of God. He wrote 2 books on his parallel universe theories in high school. More recently in college, he's developed a new understanding of cosmology and quantum field theory, such as how all cosmic histories interfere in a timeless universal matrix, or integrate. He has also been a free spirit willing to express himself and challenge the status quo, whether this be academic establishment or physicist or general cultural environment. He's at Von Anele, Vonabele on Twitter for now. Now they're calling for you to be banned off Twitter. They're calling for you to be kicked out of school. Go back to when this happened a few nights ago. You're surrounded by women poking you, pushing you, because you're a white male. It's just basically like a gang, like the Warriors or something. Warriors, come out and play. And that's what this has become at these universities. They tell them you're downtrodden, and then, of course, no one's downtrodden anybody, and then they come up and get in your face, and then now you're the bad guy for saying white people are good, white people aren't bad. I mean, this is kind of beyond saying it's okay to be white, which Martin Luther King would obviously say. So let's get into your background, what happened that night, and where you think this is all going.
Oh, yeah, Alex. Well, you know, I was just pissed off being surrounded by a mob of people who were attacking my identity, and I wasn't going to...
So how did it start? They just saw, there's a white guy, or what happened?
Well, it started when a couple students were talking about how Trump endorses sexual assault, and I told them, you know what, I'm a Trump supporter, and I don't endorse sexual assault. And a large group of students gathered around me and accused me of having white privilege, and basically told me that because of my identity, because I'm white, that I've got something to apologize for. I told them, you know what, I have nothing to apologize for. I'm going to stand up for who I am. I'm going to stand up for what I believe, and I'm going to stand up for the values of the society that I live in. But because of that, because I stood up for myself, I'm being attacked by the media relentlessly. You know, as I said, a CNN commentator told people to destroy my life. I've been harassed by leftist mobs on the internet. I've been harassed by Antifa. My family has been threatened. And look, I'm going to stand strong, and I'm not going to put up with it. I'm sick and tired of apologizing for who I am, and I'm sick and tired of a society that can't accept free expression. So, you know, that's the situation.
Now let's expand on that, because I've seen you demonized everywhere, but so the specifics of the CNN, we'll pull it up for TV and radio listeners so they can see it and hear it. But yeah, they've been calling for you to be doxxed, you to be destroyed. It's CNN that goes to old women's houses and says you're Russian agents. It's CNN that when somebody makes a meme about Trump body slamming CNN, they threaten to destroy his life. I mean, these are real bullies.
Oh, absolutely. And they're so disingenuous, too, with the way that they reported my statement. Also, the Associated Press as well. They didn't publish my full statement. They completely editorialized it. They made me seem weak. And I'm not going to put up with that. You know, I'm sick of the fake news media demonizing people. And I'm sick of the media attacking people for what they say.
What do you think their end game is? When you turn on the news, it's all race-based politics. You read WikiLeaks, they admit they want to create division racially because the globalists don't want to deliver economic freedom. They want to deliver infighting.
Absolutely. They want to destroy the basic bonds of our society. I mean, that's what I feel like. They're relentlessly attacking social unity. They want to split people up into groups. That's their end game.
So what is it like on Columbia University? Because I understand university still has some value, but most of the degrees are worthless. It's become mainly a brainwashing factory. I have 4 children. If they want to go to college, they can, but I went to college a few years. It was just a bunch of brainwashing. It just seems like it's become one of the most anti-Western, anti-American organizations is to dare even set foot on one of these anti-free speech facilities.
Yeah, I mean, Columbia's campus, and more generally, I feel most university campuses in the country are utterly conformist. I mean, intellectually, everyone says the same buzzwords. Everyone believes the same thing. Everyone demonizes white men and Western civilization. And there's really a limited avenue for free expression. I mean, let me give you an example. If you look at the Columbia student newspaper, 20 years ago, most of the stories were normal. They were talking about students' experiences. And today, if you look at the student newspaper, all the stories about students' experiences are about their race and their gender and their sexual orientation. It's just total intellectual conformity.
And let's be clear, the globalists don't want a debate between free market and Renaissance and globalism, so they all make it about what color you are or your sexual preference as a distraction because they really don't care at the end of the day. And that's really the big secret here is they're culture jamming, and the globalists want to conquer the U.S., roll it into this one world government, and they even admit in their own internal documents that's what this is the actual sabotage of the culture. So people are paying to go be brainwashed, be given a worthless degree, and be inducted into a cult of losers.
Yeah, I definitely think our society is headed in a sort of scary direction,
Well, I think on these echo chambers of these universities, these professors see the total power they've got, and they think, why not project this outward? And then they've got willing accomplices, the big tech giants, and the corporate media to actually try this operation.
Absolutely. I mean, the tech giants scare me too, because so much of our discourse and our expression is controlled by a couple of huge corporations like Google, Facebook, and Twitter, and they're going to have the ability to control what people say. So how can we live in a free society where there's a couple huge corporations that have the total ability to censor people and to demonize people? I mean, I definitely experienced that being the subject of an internet hate mob. The internet companies and the tech companies have so much power over what people say.
I want to go to break, come back and do 5 more minutes with you. I want to invite you back up for a full hour, but just talk about your experiences and what it's like day to day on a university and where this is going. Because, I remember just 20 years ago, I'd go speak at universities, they'd ask me to speak. Now people ask me to speak, and then about 5 days later, it's all canceled, and people have been threatened, or they've been kicked out of the university, major student groups. I used to go speak at UT in major halls with 4,000, 2,000 people, and now it's just no invites, which is fine. I don't need that invite, but it's like, wow, these places are not bastions of free speech. We'll come back with the gentleman. He's at Von Anele, Vonabele on Twitter. Julian Von Anele is our guest. We'll come back and finish up with him, and then we've got Roger Stone with the aftermath of what's happened, the latest on Michael Cohen and General Flynn and where this country is going in the globalist attempt to crash the economy. Speaking of the economy, the establishment, as you know, understands that InfoWars forms a critical ecosystem of nationalist, patriotic, pro-human, classical liberal views. And so we're the opposite of these controlled universities, so they want to shut down. And you've seen the fake lawsuits, you've seen the lies, the demonization, the physical attacks, and we haven't gone away thanks to your prayers, your support, you spreading the word. Your word of mouth is king. But financial support. We are selling everything out this year, so we don't have to pay the inventory tax at the end of the year. Every T-shirt, every book, every film, every case of non-GMO heirloom seeds, every case of high-quality storable foods, every great water filtration system and air filtration system, it's all 50 to 75% off. That's the lowest, 50% off. So all these products I'm losing money on. These are great products. And double Patriot points at 5 points on every new order. It's 10 points. That's 10 cents on every dollar. And a free t-shirt. A free t-shirt with every order at InfoWarsStore.com. And that helps spread the word. It helps support our broadcast. So please help us. I want to sell everything out of the warehouse by the end of the year. That is now only about 18 days away. So InfoWarsStore.com is the umbrella site. InfoWarsLife.com is the supplement site. Takes you right there. Up to 75% off, free shipping, double Patriot points, exclusive 24-hour specials, and get a free t-shirt with every order. You cannot beat this. Don't fight the traffic. Don't fight the crowds. Don't go through all that. No, go to InfoWarsStore.com. Now, we sold out of the We're All Alex Jones, Don't Censor Me, Don't Tread on Me shirt. But it's now a mystery shirt. We've got thousands of other shirts of different types. So you're going to get a mystery shirt free. If you're already getting free shipping, you can't lose. InfoWarsStore.com. The only way you do lose, this is an amazing statement, it's true, is by not supporting InfoWars and going to a big box store and getting ripped off. So most of the stuff's a loss leader. We're capitalizing into the next year in the fight against the globalists. We're in the middle of the fight right now. Thanks for all your support. We'll be back with the fourth hour. Stay with us. Julian Von Anele is our guest. He's a physicist student at Columbia, and he's a bad guy being attacked by a group of leftist women poking at him for saying, wow, the West has done incredible stuff. Everybody wants into the West, but there is a social envy taught to people to then hate the West, and taught to women that they're not part of the West and that men are their enemies. This is a very diabolical plan by the big corporations. So in closing, Julian, what do you want to add to the world? Or what's a rant you'd like to say about the West?
A rant about the West. Well, I think it's completely ironic that Western civilization is attacked for being a civilization that hurts people and for being a civilization that puts people down. Because you know what? Western civilization has created the greatest living standards and the most peace and the most opportunity for the most people of any society in history. And I think it's time that we start to stand up for our values as a society when we're under constant attack by a system that wants to bring down the basic principles of our civilization. I mean, that's how I feel as a person. I feel like my identity is under attack, and I feel like the values of the greatest society in history, the society in which I live, are under attack. And I'm not going to succumb to conformity. I'm not going to succumb to a system that wants to put us down. I'm going to stand up for it, and I hope you do too.
Well, you know, the West is what began to try to end inequality and try to empower everybody. So the idea that we're then the problem, no, we've projected onto everybody that they are as open-hearted as we are. And then bad players in the West have gone and tried to mobilize other groups to take down the West in an attempt to conquer it. It is just insane.
Exactly. I mean, look, the West was the first society to end slavery. The West was the first society to create equal legal rights for all people. The West was the first society that essentially viewed individuals as individuals and not as part of some social or racial group. Okay, look at the worst atrocities in history. Okay, look at the Wikipedia article that lists the worst atrocities and the worst wars in history by death toll. And what do you see? It's not atrocities committed by the West. It's atrocities committed by civilizations that didn't view individuals as individuals. For the vast majority of human history, okay, it was standard procedure in a war when you sacked a city to kill everyone who lived there. Western society was the first society to create a code of the rules of war. It was the first society to respect civilian rights in war. It was the first society that founded its notion of ethics in the individual, in the human person. But the human person is being attacked. But
okay? Stay there. We're going to come back. I want you to finish these great points you're making. You're dead on target. They use our openness as our weakness. You see, they know we have this code, and so they use it and tell us to subserve to them, the globalists, when they're actually overthrowing the whole thing. When you come back and restart that so-called rant, which is historical facts, the truth is globalism is the disease. Western Renaissance is the cure. I'm Alex Jones. Stay with us. Julian Von Anele is a really smart guy. We saw his drunken rant when he was surrounded by a bunch of harpy leftist brainwashed cult members at Columbia University when he's a physicist student, telling him that he was an evil white devil. And he said, listen, I'm not going to sit here and hear my identity's bad. I stand for what people stand for. So we got Roger Stone coming up, but I want you to start over because you got cut off on the break. Start over because this is important. This is when you're not drunk. About your treatise on Western civilization, ending slavery, all the things, which is true, and the printing press and medicine and everything and the Hippocratic Oath being adopted and women empowerment and all of this, a culture of Renaissance, not conquest. Doesn't mean we weren't both, but we invented the Renaissance culture, not conquest. So lay it out for us.
Absolutely, Alex. Something remarkable has happened in the last 300 to 400 years of human history. Since we've lived in civilization, since we've had agricultural society, for the vast majority of those 10,000 years, the lives of the vast majority of people have been short and violent and brutish. But something remarkable has happened in the last 400 years because we finally managed to build a society that views individuals as persons and not as part of a social group. Okay? I cited an example of looking at the worst atrocities in history. If you look at wars throughout human history, it was standard procedure to sack a city and kill everyone inside. It was a standard procedure to take out revenge on an entire, ethnic group, on everyone with the same blood. Okay? Individuals were not viewed as persons. But, and I don't know if it's a combination of Christianity and Greco-Roman civilization, but in medieval Europe, a collection of ideas coalesced that viewed the individual as the embodiment of themselves and not as a representation of an ethnic group or a social group.
Well, you said something very historically sophisticated there. The Romans were the first group, because they would also kill everybody down to age 10 that were males. But they were the first group that didn't have a super elitism outside of the patrician order, where they would bring in outside groups and breed with them if they thought they had good genetics, when no other outside group would do that. So the Romans would bring in Germans, Visigoths, others, and have sex with them and have kids because they thought their bloodline was strong. So you're right, the Germans, even before the Christian ethos, started opening up the genetic system and seeing things on an individual basis, not on a group basis.
Right, exactly. And seeing things on an individual basis is what has built the most prosperous and peaceful period in human history. And it's such an amazing opportunity that I don't want this society to die. But I feel like our basic principles are under threat because the genre of leftist identity politics doesn't believe in the individual. It believes that everyone is part of a social or a racial group. So really, it's just a fallback to the sort of default position of human history, which is that there is no such thing as the individual, which is that everyone is a representation of a blood or an ethnicity. Okay? I don't want the most peaceful and prosperous society in human history to fall, and I'm going to stand up for it. And if that means turning myself into a pariah, if that means being attacked by the left-wing media, I don't care, because I'm going to stand up for Western civilization, because I truly believe that it is the greatest civilization that has ever existed. And it's an amazing opportunity for everyone in the world to live in a society and in a structure that is peaceful and prosperous and values the individual and values free expression.
And let's expand on that. I go back to Martin Luther King. He said, judge someone individually on what they stand for, what they do, what they produce. I'll go to your restaurant with your black, white, brown, your food's good. I'll listen to your music. I don't give a damn what color you are. That's common sense. We go off what people produce, who they are individually. To say, like, because you're from a group or a certain color, then you must be bad. But that's what the left is openly teaching. That's what they're pushing. And we know why. This big global corporate takeover wants a bunch of divided and conquered groups they can manipulate. And they are now double-crossing the Western social compact or the Western social agreement, and they are breaking that while they tell all of us that have morals we're racist, do what we say, they're the ones creating the race-based, cultural-based system. Incredibly evil.
Exactly. I mean, I do believe that it is evil, Alex. I do believe that it is evil to blame all of the problems of society on essentially Western civilization, because that's what the
That's because Western civilization doesn't compute with an authoritarian technocracy. We're the cure, man. They don't want that. Everyone wants to get here, not that we're perfect, but because the little bit of freedom we had produced so much damn wealth. Obviously, everyone wants it. It's the best. So again, the power structure wants to erode it because it creates wealth for the general public. If you go to Whole Foods or read any leftist publication, oh, we're too rich, we have too much, we need to be austere. But then it's rich elitists with private jets telling us we can't have anything. This is so damn obvious.
Exactly, it is obvious. I mean, who would want to restrict free expression? Corporations, massive corporations and organizations, the tech companies, people who want to control citizens of our country. Okay? If you have a society that does not value free expression, if you have a society that does not value the person, if you have a society that does not value individuals, okay, then that's a society where you can control people. That's a society where you can manipulate people. That's a society where you can put everyone into a little box and tell them to go to their little place. And I don't want to live in that kind of society.
Exactly. They want to tell you what your identity is instead of a Renaissance identity that's everything and true diversity. But let's expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason the big corporations are so threatened is that they've brainwashed Republicans that anything a corporation does is perfect. They can do whatever they want. But corporations are bigger than governments now. They're acting as governmental institutions, and they're showing their authoritarian bent. So we then bring in government as the balance, as the people's will, to not have prohibitions on freedom, but prohibitions on suppression of freedom, like big tech.